Hello, hello, and a triple hello. Welcome everyone to the channel. I hope that you're having a wonderful day out there, whether it's the morning when this is coming out or in the afternoon, in the evening, and maybe you're settling in today. I welcome you in. Sorry, this wired is more twisted than Jafar's beard that one time when Jasmine told him that his beard was twisted. Anyways, you guys, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to listen and watch a live performance of Symphony number 41, also known as the Jupiter Symphony, of course by Mozart. It was, let's see, I'm looking for the date, composed in 1788. We're listening to this because some of you had suggested taking a listen to this. We listened to Symphony number 40, and so some of you just said, just listen to the next one, and so we're going to go ahead and do so right now. Just a couple of you that had recommended this. Min Modulation, Stephanie Thurmer, and Zog Zog. There may have been others, but when I type in Jupiter and Symphony 41, a lot of other stuff comes up that has nothing necessarily to do with this. So I apologize if there were others of you, but I see you now. Kind of. Thank you so much for the recommendation. Mozart, we're diving a little bit in. Haven't covered really anything for the most part of his on the channel for the most part. So we're just doing a little bit of exploration. If it's your first time here, I don't know much about classical music when it comes to the technical senses. I'm just here to listen and enjoy. And listen and enjoy is what I intend to do. So we're going to watch this live performance by the Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach Chamber Orchestra. I believe this is going to be, let's see, conducted by Hartmut Hanchen. Hopefully I pronounced his name correctly. But we're going to listen to this. And like I said, watch this performance performed in 2005. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the video. We'll, of course, go ahead and take a listen to it. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope I enjoy. and without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Of course, before we even press play, if you don't mind, press the like button. Even if you don't like this video, even if you don't like me, just press the like button. Even though I hope you do like me. All right, let's go ahead and do it. We'll talk about it a little bit after and a little bit during. Here we go. That is absolutely a brilliant performance to me. And that captures a lot of things that I like. So I on my own don't listen to a ton of classical music. I listen to kind of classical adjacent. You guys saw it on my playlist that I have. I have a classical playlist for myself, and you kind of get an idea of what I like. I generally, for the most part, like things that are much more softer, subtle, and melodic rather than something overly bombast or just too much and perhaps too hard to follow. That has a great place, but for my own personal listening, I prefer, something a little softer for the most part. However, I feel like this piece is, once again, kind of a great entry point into classical music, or if you wanted to get someone interested in it, because the whole thing, at least in my opinion, is very, very easy to follow. All of the movements have a very distinct style and something of interest to, kind of get your attention. I kept on saying it, but the first movement kind of felt like the piece of music that would be playing as you walked into some grand palace for a ball or something like that with a bunch of dignitaries and people, and everyone's just being welcomed in. I feel like that first piece or that first movement is really kind of like rolling out that proverbial red carpet for us as we're getting involved and listening to this piece of music. The second, that's where I find myself really clicking. I love the more subtle, slower down kind of movements and the ambience that's built around there. I like how even though those hits still continue in there, they feel a little bit more dragged, a little bit more sustained, and kind of like an inhale of music as the breath of music kind of comes up with it, never taken away from that ambience that's built in. There was a really cool moment. I remembered it was around 10 minutes. Let me see. It was around 10 minutes at the end of the first movement where the strings got briefly heavy. Let me pull it back up here really quick. I just thought it was a really cool moment. There. Okay. That is such a wonderful run, and it's so brief. It never returns to that specifically. The rapidness builds up intensely. There's a certain darkness from the strings that just like ebbs in, and then it flows right back out before, of course, just a minute or so later, it moves back into that second movement. It was just a really cool moment that I thought stood out. And that's what I mean. There's moments like that strewn throughout here. So to me, I don't know what I'm talking about, right? To me, this comes across as an incredibly accessible piece of music to listen to. That still has a lot of flair, a lot of bombast, especially in the first and final movements, which well deserved, a lot of subtlety, and a lot to also kind of study at the same time. It's called Jupiter. I'm imagining after the planet, and it feels grand, but at the same time mysterious and perhaps like a planet, kind of out of reach. I like how the third part, the third movement, kind of had a little bit more playfulness, kind of almost referencing a little bit of the first movement. Then the finale. Did that feel like a finale? That big, massive build up towards the end felt so well deserved, incredibly satisfying to listen to as it ran up to that hill and then ran back down. I thought that this was just a really brilliant piece of music that is as interesting as it is accessible. Looking at some of the Wikipedia article here, says that the longest and last symphony that he composed is regarded as by many critics as among the greatest symphonies in classical music. It was nicknamed the Jupiter Symphony, probably coined by the impresario Johann Peter Salomon. The autographed manuscript of the symphony is preserved in the Berlin State Library. Let's see. It's the last of a set of 3 that Mozart composed in rapid succession during the summer of 88. The summer of 88 was hot for him. 39 was completed, and June 26th and 40, 25th of July. Nicolas Harnoncourt argues that Mozart composed the 3 symphonies as a unified work, pointing, among other things, to the fact that the Symphony No. 41 as the final work has no introduction, but has a grand finale. That's kind of interesting, and that's kind of a curious theory there. Around the same time as he composed the 3 symphonies, Mozart was writing his piano trios. It is not known for certain whether Symphony No. 41 was ever performed in the composer's lifetime. According to Otto Erich Dusch, Mozart was preparing to hold a series of concerts in the casino around this time in a new casino in Spiegelgasse owned by Philipp Otto. Mozart even sent a pair of tickets for this series to his friend Michael Puchberg. Historians have not determined whether the concert series was held or was canceled for lack of interest. However, the new symphony in C was performed at the Gewandhaus in Leipzig in '89, at least according to its concert program. Of course, here's all the information about the different movements and stuff. Listen, all this key information, I'm not going to lie, it just looks like another language to me, and it means nothing to me. I just want to know how it sounds, man. That's interesting for the real musicians, but not for me. It says, let's see. I like to learn more about the information here. According to Franz Mozart, Wolfgang's younger son, the symphony was given the name Jupiter by Johann Peter Salomon, who had settled in London around 81. The name has also been attributed to Johann Baptist Kramer, an English music publisher. Reportedly, from the first chords, Mozart's number 41 reminded Kramer of Jupiter and his thunderbolts. Not talking about Marvel. Says the Times of 1817 carries an advertisement for a concert to be given in Hanover Square Rooms on Friday next, May 9th, to include Grand Symphony Jupiter, Mozart. And there's some other advertisements as well. First recording was around the beginning of World War I, issued by the Victor Talking Machine Company, its Black Label series, making it one of the first symphonies to be recorded using the acoustic recording technology. I love that kind of technological history there. And of course, there's some other info on that as well. I thought that this was a really cool listen. I enjoyed listening to this a lot. Let's look at some of the comments here. Is this a long story? Weird story, but the internet is anonymous, so I'll share. A couple of months ago, I went through a rough alcohol withdrawal, and my brain was on overdrive for a few days. The first movement was stuck in my head relentlessly during this time. One night I couldn't sleep and had a hallucination, dream-like state that I was hearing this piece loud, bright, and clear as if through headphones. I picked up on so many details I had never heard before. I felt an intense elation, blown away, but what a genius Mozart was in soaking in every bit of this first movement. The rest of the night was far less pleasant than that, but I fell in love and have been listening to this over and over since then. Anyways, I'm 37 days sober now with no plans to go back. I am in this comment section often, so I figured I'd leave this little story here. That's beautiful. That's awesome. The power of music and different things. Who could fail to love this gentle masterpiece? This was a really cool piece of music. Thank you guys so much for the recommendation. I hope that you enjoyed it. Of course, press the like button if you didn't. You know, all the other YouTube stuff, the Buy Me a Coffee, the Patreon page. Thank you so much for being here. Please come back tomorrow, and I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.